just basically for timestamps afterwards. So you're very welcome along to Guitar Hours. I think we're on number 33 at this stage, or 32. You're very welcome. And what we're going to get into first is a question that came in from Che. So Che is trying to get all their fingers to stretch, especially across 4 frets. To do the actual bar chord is extremely challenging. Trying to get into the bar chord position fast is also quite challenging. Okay, so when it comes to bar chords, a key thing to watch is to just take the bar chord on its own. Take it as its own thing to learn, not put it in a song or not put it in a chord progression. So, and the key thing is to pick the right bar chord to learn first. The easiest one I've found is G major, okay, because the frets are a bit smaller, 2 frets up. They're not too small up here, so you just get it here. And basically then it's to keep the actual bar finger, you would isolate this. So you'd pick the top string, pick the 2 bottom strings, and you spend a bit of time on that shape, and basically you isolate that out, work that, treat it like a strength training exercise where you're just training that. Use the side of your index finger, the bony part, pull the elbow in towards the hip, and basically train that, and then train the other 3 fingers, and then start combining them up all together. Okay, it takes time. I'd suggest trying lighter strings if you're still having problems, like 10s, elixirs, or no, D'Addario 10s would be good. Just a lighter gauge, lighter on the fingers. So that could go some way towards helping. I also have bar chord videos up. If you go onto my channel and you look up bar chords, you'll find like more in-depth, like 15-minute bar chord long lessons. But those are the main spark notes sort of outline for this. And with that then, what I'd suggest is rewatch this question again. There, when I said something, you might have gone up thinking about what I just said, and you might miss out on the other bullet point or 2. So just recap the stuff. Treat it like a project. G major bar chord. Take it on its own. Don't do any other song yet for a while. If you are to do one after that, I'd recommend Stand By Me by Benny King and the Drifters, because it's G bar chord, then E minor, C and D open. 1 bar chord, 3 open. All right, hope that helps, Jake. Great question. Who else have we got in here? Who else? Andy, what's up? Welcome along. Another man getting the videos up. Great job. Hey, Antaron, how are you doing? Evening. Brilliant. I'll get to that question then shortly, Andy. Perfect. So, let me see. Next question came in from Andy, and Andy's question was around when strumming, do I strum all the strings down and up? Like for G, is it 6 strings down and up, and on D is it 4 down and 4 up? Okay, perfect. So when you're doing up strums on guitar, most of the time you won't strum all the strings when you do them. So like watch if I'm on G. Notice my strum hand sometimes. I'm strumming all down. Then on the ups in particular, I'm on thinnest 2 or 3 strings. So it'll depend, Andy. In general, I'd say a good rule of thumb is basically to get those ones with just aim to get the bottom 3 strings in general will help. Okay, and on the D chord then it's kind of the bottom 2. You're always kind of taking 1 or 2 away. All right, hope that helps. And Andy, I'm going to get your other question here while you asked. Okay, so your other question is any tips for warm up for finger stretching and discipline? Okay, for finger stretching, really, like I used to like this one. I used to do quite a lot. It's just that one where you extend the arm. And disclaimer, I'm not a physio, I'm not medical anything, but I used to like this one. I used to just stretch the fingers out that way and just stretch them there, you know, and just do a couple of wrist rotations as well. I used to do that when I'd hurt myself. I would basically do I had a heat pack as well. I used to wear a heat pack and it was kind of warm up the muscles. And I heard a crazy story once about a guitarist dipping their elbows in warm water before they started. You might need to Google that one. It was Joe Satriani. I read it in a book. Apparently it helped. Okay, so those are a few things. And then in terms of playing things to warm up, one of the best warm-ups is just to play. And the best thing to do is start with nice easy open chords, nice easy strum, and just build it up from there. And just like being on a treadmill, I know you'd have a run, like you know yourself when you're getting warmed up when you can push it a small bit more. So just take it slow and steady, then build it up from there. All right, nice one. John, sorry. Okay, John, you're very welcome along as well. Hope the strum's going well. If you have any questions, pop a comment, all right? I'm going to start writing down your usernames, lads. Because I know Niall joined last week and I missed his name as well. So, okay, so next question comes from Noel. And any practice I'd recommend when you're away from your guitar for a week. So how to practice guitar, or exercises or tips to stay in the game even though you mightn't have a guitar. What I used to do was I used to use those weeks as like intellect knowledge weeks. I used to bring some CDs and I used to use it as like you know, with goal setting they say it's a good idea. Of course you do your work on your goals, but then there's times to go away and sort of, I don't know what brain it is, right brain I think, just be dreamy and dream visions and ideas and all that stuff. Well, on guitar, that's what I used to do. I used to basically, if I was away from the guitar for a week, which would happen quite a lot when we go on family vacations, and I used to just write and be like, okay, where am I with my playing? Where do I want to be? What do I need to learn? And I used to go on the internet. This is back in the days of internet cafes. I used to go to internet cafes and be reading. So that would serve as inspiration. Also, if I had a ton of stuff, like I remember I brought 2 guitar books on holidays once, and I started writing out bits of the solos I'd learn. And I'd start looking at them, kind of going, oh, there's a bend in that. Okay, I'll get to that. So kind of making the to-do list. But it was only by stepping back, by not having my guitar, that I began to go, well, yeah, there's these things to think about, because we can be so caught up in the doing. So that'd be one thing, Noel. Now, of course, you're living in the age of the internet, being in our phones now. So what you could do is like be looking up some new songs, maybe songs that you mightn't be finishing, or songs that with sections that you might avoid. I don't know, are you? But maybe step back and go, what's in those? Is there any pattern? Often our behaviors will be unconscious, and when we step out of our normal routine, those unconscious behaviors will become very, you'll spot the patterns, like didn't finish that song, did a bit of that song, then stopped it. They both have a bar chord. You know, I'm making these ones up, but I do that. Blank notepad, nothing in it, and I just spend some time writing. The other thing I used to do is work on my theory. I'd work on my tab writing. I would write out just tab, and I'd be writing it on holidays just to improve that writing skill. And then what else? I used to, if there was guitar stores, I used to go into guitar stores to see different guitars, and I just used to listen to a ton of music and just think about what I wanted to learn next on guitar. And that was kind of it. And you know what too, like the thing is, the break from guitar too can serve well, because you're raring to go when you get back, and you're raring to go with these new goals, with the new ideas, with the patterns that you might have uncovered, you know. So hope that helps. If you have any follow-up questions, of course, no, pop a comment there. Okay, cool. Okay, next question came in from Coleman, and Coleman's question is around how to memorize the notes on the fretboard. Is there certain patterns to it, or how did I do it? How did I learn all the notes on the fretboard? So when I began, I basically learned the notes on the E and the A string, and the reason I learned them was because of bar chords. That was my why. So whatever you're learning notes for, you gotta have a why, and the why that time was bar chords. So I learned all the way up. Learned both strings, E and A string. And after that then, I learned about power chords, and I was happy because I could like know the names of them based on where I was playing. And then all of a sudden, one day, I'm not joking, it was a song like Ghostbusters or something, when like that. Any of you unfamiliar? But that power chord there. And what happened was, I didn't know the name of it, and I had to suddenly go, geez, okay, what's the name of this if I need to tell it to somebody? And that's when I began learning the notes on the D string. But the quickest hack I could have for learning the notes on the D string was you start on the E and then the octave above, so up 2 frets, down 2 strings. That's the exact same note. That's A, and that's A. So that's when I started using them. And once I found that out, I began to kind of play them around the fretboard and started asking myself what I was on. And that's the key thing with the notes. When you're playing, after you learn, sometimes we learn the note, then we get on the fretboard, and then we drill the thing and we go back to playing by ear and by feel. And after that, then we kind of throw the note names out the window. The notes are the gateway to get onto the fretboard, but they're the very map to find our way around the fretboard also. So as you're playing these, just basically name the chords as you go. So for example, B5, D5, A5. That's where they're in the D string, right? Then the thin E string and the thin B string and the G, I would learn those for some solos, like really just if those notes. You see, I'm kind of getting stuck for uses for them. Where it did come in useful over time was creativity, where I'd be like, I want to play a G note, I want to play a D note, I want to play a B note to make a G chord. So that's how it unlocked it. Top 2, then the D string, that's half them learned. The E string you already know because of the top E string, so that's like 4 out of 6 learned. And then the G string was just the same idea. Whatever note you're on the A string, go up 2 frets, down 2 strings. It's the same sounding note. Okay, so those have been the key things to it, and just I would have forced myself to learn them. I specifically remember in school borrowing someone's copy. We're doing that. Irish Rover, Wild Rover, Irish Rover. Borrowed a tin whistle copy and it had all the notes on it and there was no tab. And I had to like go through the copy and figure out the notes, you know? So if you want to find a few tunes like that coming, that can work really well for memorizing the fretboard, or look up sheet music. You know, that'll be the other thing. All right, hope that helps. Any follow-up questions, of course, ask in the community. Happy to answer. Okay, so next question we have is from Steve, and the question is around triads in songs and how to use them. Okay, so for any of you looking going, what in the name of God is a triad? A triad has 3. It's like a group of 3 notes. A chord is made up of generally 3 notes, right? I know you might be like, but I'm playing 6 strings for a lot of chords. A lot of those are repeated notes. The 3 notes that make up a G chord, if I was to get 3 guitars side by side, and one went like this, another like this, another like this, and they played all at once, we get that, which begins to sound like a chord. Now, that's a triad, and there's only 3 of the notes on the go. And the reality is, for every chord, there's multiple ways you can play that chord. So here's one triad. That's a G, there's a G, another G, another G, another G. I'll do one more. Now, here's the thing. How to use these in songs. The first thing is to learn 3 or 4 of the triads. So I'd learn this one, I'd learn this one, and just repeat that one. And what that allows me to do, that might have sounded familiar because I went G, E minor, C, and D. And by using triads, I'm basically playing a nicer little version of those chords. And to use them in songs, your question, Steve, was around using them in songs. I would pick easy peasy songs to start with. Songs where the chords are spread out for ages, so I have time to get into the triad and time to name the triad, and then I'd start rotating between them that way. Okay, so like the key thing with that is you get that, and as you move around, you're going to find that you'll gravitate towards certain ones. And then after that, you could be looking up certain songs that would use them even more. And then just a tip thing for those of you going, well, why would I want to play chords with triads? It's because you can actually play bits of fills because your fingers are in a triad instead of being locked into full-on chords. It's harder to get out of the chord into a fill. All right, so that's a bit about triads, Steve. But yeah, you mentioned Sky Full of Stars last week, if I remember rightly. So that'd be a great example. Okay, and again, I know I have a YouTube channel, I have a membership, but if you're looking to look up something quick and you don't need to sit through long lessons or even short lessons for everything. Like, I would literally Google G triad chord shapes, and I just learn a few of them, right? Look up the chords Sky Full of Stars, Google the chord shapes, learn them. It's a little bit more work than just being given the keys to the chord shapes, but it sticks in the brain better. All right, hope that helps. Next question comes in from David. This is around pentatonics. I'm having trouble connecting my pentatonic scales up and down the fretboard. What's an easy way to do this? Okay, so a pentatonic is a scale used a lot in riffs, like a song like this. That's a riff. The notes are belonging to a scale called a pentatonic. You can play these all over the neck, just like the way you can play shapes. Right, so you can play the same chord in many different places. You can play the same types of scales all over the neck. How do you connect them up and down the neck? Well, here's I'm going to give you one. Give you one of these, David, because if you put this one into use, it's going to help all of them. I'm using the A minor pentatonic scale. Okay, shape 1. Then I dip back, I'm in shape 5. And then we have shape 2. Right, now, here's one way to connect them up. Think of octaves. So if you take the first 4 notes at shape 5, so I'm on 3, 5, 3, 5, and any of you watching this who don't play lead, don't worry, we'll stop getting so advanced now in a second. Just these two are back to back, these questions. So 3, 5, 3, 5. Now if you go to the middle 2 strings and you go 5, 7, 5, 7, it's the same notes, just up an octave, just sounded higher. Then you go to 8, 10, 8, 10. Same notes again. So I played the same notes in 3 different shapes. Because these ones belong to shape 5. These two belong to shape 1. They belong to shape 2. And though, what can you do 4 notes like that? Do you know this one? Carry On My Wayward Son. Alrighty, so that's a little tip, David. So find the octaves that you can jump through, and that's one quick way to get between the scales. Okay. Right. Next question came in. We have 2 more questions, then I'm going to hit into the chat. Next question came in from Niall, and the question was around matching the key of your voice to the guitar. Okay, perfect. It's not always simple when transposing songs. I'm going to share a really cool one, and I'm giving William total credit for this one because William mentioned it one day. William's one of our members. William mentioned it one day, and I was like, that is so cool. So to start singing the song down an octave, and then put a capo on and start making it higher. So let me see. What be a do that one? For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. Stevie Wonder. If that was too high, watch this. I go, for once in my life, I have someone. Sounds really low and not too good. And then if I can move that up now. For once in my life, I have some. For once in my life, it begins to sound better for where my voice is. So that'll be one quick hack you could do there, Niall. Sing it down an octave, sing in your low voice, and put a capo on from there and start moving up through. Okay, hope that helps. Big hat tip there to William. Okay, next question came in from D-Lo Brown, which is a username. Okay, so what are the priorities for a beginner up to the first 6 months? Okay, cool. I'm going to riff here. Priorities for a beginner are as follows. First 3 chords to learn, A, D, and E. Best first song to learn ever in the world is Happy Birthday. Is it fun? Is it exciting? It's not. Is it usable? Yes, it is. Have you heard it many times throughout your life? Probably. Okay, so it's in the ears, it's in the brain, it's in the memories, which makes it a great first song to start with. A, D, and D. Then after that, you add on G and E minor. Those are the 2 chords to add on next, because you can add on G with D and A into a song. A song I generally recommend is Dreams by the Cranberries. It's D, G, and A. And then after that, you've D, G, and A, and you've A, D, and E songs. So now you've 2 types of chord groupings. And the key thing with songs is I generally would juggle 3 at a time. If you look at somebody juggling, the standard type of juggling is 3, right? To do 3 together. If someone's juggling 4 things, you kind of go, wow, that's cool. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen anyone juggle 5 things. So set up a triangle of songs. You wanna focus on completing a song, then you wanna tap into moving into the next song and the next one and dance between them. And Andy, I know you're going through this right now. Andy, if you have any tips and you want to post them in the chat, just post them there and I'll add it in, okay? I know Andy's doing a great job at the minute inside our community of moving between the songs, okay? So if you have any ideas, Andy, post them. He's in the weeds doing the work, right? I'm saying it through memory and through experience, but this is what I've seen work. And so you have 3 songs, G, E minor is added on, and then you stay with open chords, right? Get your 10 open chords. That's A minor, B minor 7, B7, C, D, D minor, E minor, F, G. Sorry, there's 11, F and G. Tip away the bar chord is a long-term project. I'd start that after a period of time. Use lighter strings. Just learn 1 bar chord, G major. Play around with a few simple riffs if you'd like, and things like that. But just focus on the open chords. Focus on the main thing, and focus on getting your rhythm solid. How you do that is with the metronome. A shout out to John. I know John's currently doing the work with the metronome at the minute, and getting the strumming, because it's 50-50. Half your stuff is your chord hand, half your stuff is your strumming hand. The rhythm work you do in your strumming is going to stand to you for your finger picking, for your alternate picking, but the foundations of rhythm will be in the metronome work. All right, so that's a bit of a 3 minute rant there, but rewatch it, take notes, and that'll be and stick to the plan. Watch out you don't go chord collecting, or just learning a ton of chords without songs for them, or YouTube hopping, learning bits of this and bits of that. Because there comes a hook point where you kind of get out. You know, when a rocket is taken off, you need to put the nuts and bolts all together and whatever the rocket's made of for it to take off nicely and for everybody to be safely there. And then when it gets outside the Earth's atmosphere, it's in its own thing. So basically, once you get outside of that main beginner hub, you can start trying different stuff. You can start playing around with loads of different stuff. But in the beginning, there's a certain linear track definitely to take. All right. I am going to take a minute to go through the chat here. I'll check how we're all doing. Okay, cool. I'm gonna write down 1 or 2 questions here a sec, folks, just so I oh, you're welcome, Noel. Glad you found that helpful. All right. Okay. So, question from Stephen: any tips about singing and playing as I keep getting mixed up? Sure. Okay. First thing is isolate them both. You want to do so much playing of the song that it goes beyond you knowing the song. So, like, for example, there's no, like, if I said to you, could you strum down and hold an E minor chord and talk with me? Odds are you can. And that's because they've been done so much that it's so solid. And you want to get whatever you're learning to that stage too. And to do that, you basically just drill the song, but drill a song section first. Just take the first part of the song and drill that, because we can be trying to do the whole thing and looking at the whole thing as a yes or a no. But if you can even get a sentence together first, and the first verse or the chorus is generally the easiest to do. Why? Because most of the time on the radio, or most of the time anywhere, we'll be very familiar with the first verse of a song and the chorus because we hear it so much. The key thing, oftentimes, it's not chord changes that catch players singing and playing, it's strumming. It's the strumming. The strumming goes upside down, or stops, or pauses, or does the rhythm of what you're singing. So what I'd say, Stephen, is start with all downs. Just really get all downs, get that solid. And that might seem basic and simple, but if that isn't steady with it, the other bits of the rhythm to be added on won't work either. So just keep that steady. One section, and that should get you on your way. All right, Stephen, are you in our free community? If you are, if you're not, just go to, drop me an email afterwards, okay? Dave@schoolofguitar.com, okay? Because I have a resource in there that can help you. All right, so that is a question for singing and playing. Okay, John, question. Okay. Yeah, no, great, good. Okay, mentioned aging ears, no way. That is musical ears, right? John just asked there, he's currently learning B7. It sounds distressingly close to D. Is that reasonable? 100%. Here's why. B7, okay, I never thought of this before actually. Well spotted. Okay, the bottom two fingers on B7 are the same two strings on D. Okay, that's why. Second fret, second fret, second fret, second fret. Okay, that's. Yeah, you could almost crank out a version of Joe. You got a nice car. Yeah, what's wrong with it? Yeah, Bohemian Like You. That could work. B7, D, A, and E. Okay, nice. Okay, no, well spotted. Okay. Oh, you said, sorry, make that B minor 7. Same setup, same fingers. Check it out. 3 for B minor 7, the bottom 2, D. 100%. A little tip there for you is any fingers that are in similar places for chord shapes sometimes means that the chords will sound nice together. You know, if you look at G and E minor, they have stuff in common. C and A minor have stuff in common. All right. Deadly Stephen. Cool. Just one quick one here. I'll give you this here. There you go. That's the link for the free group if you want to hop in, all right? There'll be a basic resource in there. And look, if you want to hop in to the community where everything's in there, give us a shout. Okay, so question. Excellent, great. So tip in from Andy about the beginner journey. Okay, so Andy said he took a note of the chords for 2 songs and he practices on one until it gets tedious. Then he changes to the second song and vice versa as long as you can. Great. Okay. So one song and the other, keep going back and over between them both. Once one gets tedious, hop to the other. It's like playing ping pong, going back and over. And all for practice. And it's working for you, Andy. I can see the chord changes coming together really quick. And the fact you keeping your strum steady with your singing as well is working really great. So thanks for sharing that. Alrighty, so let's check it out. I'm going to check out where we might have more questions. I was gathering a few here. Okay. Got it. Okay. I have one here. Okay. Any tips for an aged guitar player? Okay, that came in on Instagram. Sure, I would say just focus on getting 4 chords together first, okay? And start with something nice and slow. Start with lighter strings like gauge 10 would be nice. And G, E minor, C and D would be 4 good chords to start with. Start with a nice gentle strum pattern. If you only ever learned the down, down, up, down, up strum pattern, that'll get you by so many things. In fact, like so many players say that they do that by default. It's actually a problem. They do it by default in a ton of songs and they need to like switch it off. So that's what I do. 4 chords, that basic strum pattern. And then the other thing I'd do is I would get a capo and I'd use those 4 chords for a ton of stuff. Okay, that you put your focus into those, it will help so much. All right, that's a little bit. Let's see, anything else? Okay. Oh wow, big question here. Okay, give us a sec. How do you master the Hotel California solo? Okay, jeez. Let me see. I'm not going to play the whole solo, but I'll just check. The solo. I'm gonna get up my old trusty electric here. The solo. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but right. When I learned this, I was 14, and I'll just break it down real quick how I learned some of it. I would have taken this. I literally did that for 10-20 minutes. And then every group of notes, I just did them again and again and again and again. And then I started connecting them up. But I did them in a silly amount of times. I mean, an insane amount of times. And I just started lengthening out the solo that way. And of course, the last bit, that bit, that's easier than some of the other bits of it. But I literally took it that way. That wasn't my only solo. I was learning a ton of other stuff. And like Andy was doing with the chords, it's the same principle. I'd bounce back and over between different things. And the key markers I was looking for was I getting it up to speed? And was I getting the dynamics of the bends and of the hammer-ons and pull-offs? And then it was the feel, that sort of groovy feel that's in it. Like the... again, that's sort of, like, it wasn't like that in the beginning. It was real sort of rough, you know. So that's what I'd say. And what if I told you it would take a year to learn the solo? You know, like that, like really stretch it out, like takes the pressure out of it, takes the, oh, I'm not getting it yet out of it. It's just like, it's a year, it could be a year, okay? But the thing is, think of everything you learn along the way. When you learn Hotel California, you unlock a ton of other cool stuff underneath that you didn't even aim to unlock, but just by stretching for the bigger one, it's unlocked these ones. All right, that's what I'd say, and I would listen to the solo a ton on its own. Just get the sound into my ears. Just look up Hotel California on its own solo, and the nuances, the dynamics, the volumes, the pick angle, like everything. You pick up on so much, like, and so many people don't do it. Oh my god, and it's all over YouTube. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's see. Oh yeah, sure. Okay, perfect. So I've one here. How to get the thumb over the E string, the lower E string. Okay, so one way, and I'm gonna do it on. I'll do it on this guitar because it's the bigger one. Okay. First thing is just realize that your fingers don't have to stay the same for what you're doing. So if I'm here, like I'm here, you know. First song I did this in was Supertramp, the When I Was Young, it seemed a life was so wonderful. So check this out, that's the shape of a B flat bar chord. Played with the thumb over it. And in a blues sort of thing, like that. Now watch the way my fingers are going to change when I do a regular B flat bar chord. Watch the height, now watch. They flatten back. So that's what I'd say. I would basically get the thumb on and then start experimenting with the fingers to see what angles you need to get in order to get the rest of it to come out. And with everything, like the bar chords, like this, spend your time on just getting it to work. Okay? Don't try it in song, don't try it in a chord progression or anything like that. Just one at a time. Alrighty. Any other questions here? Class, okay. There's a physio on the stream. Thank God I said I'm not a physio. That's good. Not that I'd say I'm a physio, but yeah, brilliant. So tip here from, I'm going to shout you out, Felsted Clinic. Thanks so much. They said, I'm physio, so just keep 4 fingers and joints moving in any way. Okay? Class. Thanks so much. Jesus, that's unreal. Didn't think there was physios on the call. Unreal. Okay, so what tuning do I advise for pinched harmonics? For pinched harmonics, I just do regular tuning. Like pinched harmonics, in case you're wondering, is this sort of stuff. Or hold on now, there's all different terms. Give me one sec. Okay. Oh yeah, got it. Okay. So pinched harmonics, no, I just did regular tuning. Like it's more about the technique. Like if I'm going, but if you see the strings here, watch how much I'm hammering down on them. You know, so yeah, no specific tuning needed. Okay, and then let's check. Okay. Question from Alex. I'll just write this one down here since it'll all be chaptered. Okay. What's the difference between bar chords, main difference between bar chords and power chords? Okay, power chords generally used a lot more in rock. Bar chords used in many types of music. Power chords are missing the major and minor element. You can't hear whether I'm really going. Right, that's one thing. The other thing is power chords only use the root note and the 5th of the chord, and that's why there's a 5 after the power chord name. Right, it's easier to learn power chords ahead of bar chords, get the movements in, and then whenever you make a power chord, you can add the bar chord in on top of it. All right, just a little bit there. Let's see. Questions are flying in tonight, folks. This is good. Okay, I'm going to hop back here to this one. Brian's in the house. What's up, Brian? How are you doing? Welcome along. How's all in Scotland? Alrighty, so okay, brilliant. Question in, and I'm actually gonna test something here. Let's see if I can make this work. Class. Okay. Question from Noel. Noel has a question here that it is, I find the A Shaped Barre Chords a real challenge. Find it easier to bar all 6 strings with my index while playing the rest of the A Shaped Barre chord as normal. Okay, yeah. I was actually working with somebody about this lately. It kind of is a bad habit, right? The reason to watch out for it is this. See, you can get... Yes, okay. So you can get... you can get it to come out. But for certain songs, you've really got to like use the index here, because the index could be needed for other things. And I forget... we were doing a song. I was working with somebody, you might even be watching. I was working with somebody on a tune, and we were working on picking bottom strings, okay? And we were finding that when you bar like this with the index overhead, that part of the finger isn't that bony, and it's hard to get it to come out. But if you use here, Noel, you can use more of the bonier part of the finger to get the lower strings to come out. For example, Nothing Else Matters. I was trying to think of the song. Okay, if I went like this. That there would be a great example. For some players, if they do this, they won't be able to get that to come out. Alright, so yeah, definitely. Okay, great to see the chat here. Okay, brilliant. I'm going to answer this one. Next question comes in from Brian with that lovely looking guitar. Even Dave, learning guitar, would you pick one genre of music or several? Could you spread yourself too thin? Yeah, 100%. You can always spread yourself too thin on guitar. The thing is, I'm just going to do this here. The thing is that certain genres are crazier than others. Reggae has the offbeat stuff, the stuff that goes like the... Ska, I wouldn't touch with the barge pole, like... fast, needs barre chords. Generally pop, folk, rock, gentle rock, country rock, they'd be nice mixes of genres to mix all together. Jazz, no, not yet. Bit of blues, no harm, you know. So yeah, so that's okay. The key thing is to go back to that idea of 3 songs. It's good to have 3 songs and to be bouncing between them and getting them all up together, right? That'll be the main thing, Brian. All right, hope that helps. Any other questions, follow them on. Alrighty, let's check. I'm gonna have a look over here for any other questions. Oh my god, give me 1 second here now. I know just right, but Freebird, no Freebird. Okay, so I was actually playing a small bit of it today, actually, but it's one I've never fully learned. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're going good. We've 13 minutes, folks. Any other questions? Send them in. Try and think. Yeah, just a quick one on accountability. Just while we're here. So if you're inside our community, I set up an accountability thread today from chat with the few of you, and to look it up, I wanted to back it with a quick little study, and it was a study I found by a talent development institute, and the study was basically, I'm going to pull it up here actually, if you haven't seen it, there we go. So the study said that if you have an idea or a goal, you're 10% more likely to complete it if you've set one. So here's an example. I want to learn the Hotel California solo. That's goal. So now I've identified it. I'm 10% more likely. But deciding I'm going to do it, like really deciding, that 25% chance of success when I do that. But deciding when I'll do it. So to go from I want to get better at guitar, kind of vague, to I want to learn the Hotel California solo, to I'm going to learn the Hotel California solo by, what date are we? By the 15th of July 2025. Decide and planning how to do it. So it has, I'll make this up, it has 60 bars of music. So if by Christmas I'm 30 bars into it and it's sounding good and I've learned the elements, the bends, the hammer-ons, the put-offs, if I've done all that, I'm definitely more on the way to it, and it like 50% likelihood of success. And then committing to somebody that you'll do it. So like, for example, if you said to somebody, hey, will you text me every week and ask me how the Hotel California solo is going? Like that there is enough. Like, you know, to be known that the text is going to come, that you need to do it. And accountability works really well. And there's a counter argument in the world of, well, if you really valued it, you wouldn't need to be held accountable. There is a thought movement that says that as well, which can make sense at times. But the thing is, doing the work on guitar, sometimes it's more to keep focus. Like you could want to learn Hotel California, you could want to learn blues, you want to learn jazz, you could want to learn Freebird, all the stuff. And it's not a question that you don't want to do, it's just that there's so much to do. But the thing that helped you the most in the study was having a specific accountability appointment with someone you've committed to. There was a 95% chance of success. 95. So you go from 10% chance of success by just identifying what you want to learn to 95 by being held accountable. So inside our community, I set up like an accountability mega thread. So, and I'm going to be back practicing too, because I saw an amazing guitarist there last week. But just a word on accountability. And by the way, you don't need to be inside our community to make this happen either. You just need to find a mate and just set up a thread on Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you use, iMessage, and just hold each other accountable. And just give it a go for 30 days and just see what it might do for your playing, you know? Okay, that's enough on accountability. Okay, brilliant. I'm going to do this here. Okay, when practicing chords, would using a capo help? It can make the frets smaller, Brian, definitely. The only thing to watch is if you spent a lot of time playing with the capo, you could take the capo off and the frets down lower are going to feel really stretched out, you know. Some players report that if they're learning a couple of songs with capos and then you take it off and then you go back to regular old open position, it's weird, like, you know. So that's all I'd say. Barre chords, it definitely helps. If you put a capo on the 2nd fret, it's pushing down the strings, and then you can work on your barre chord and get it to come out a bit more. And yeah, is it kind of like a stabilizer effect? 100%. But it gives a confidence boost, which is like, well, I made it sound out once, I can do it again, you know. So that can help too. Okay, I'm gonna do, hey Steve, what's up? Alright, good to see you on the stream. I answered your question earlier, just to let you know, you'll catch it in the replay. Okay, learning songs and chords start to finish, the words are sometimes harder to remember. Yeah, like, the thing, I find the very same with words. I'm hopeless with memorizing words. But what I have found helped in situations where I couldn't have the old iPad or sheets and stuff is I've gone onto a website called songmeanings.com, and it's a website that gives you the meanings behind songs. And when I'm suddenly looking at the lyrics now and I know the meaning behind them, it kind of fits more of a place in my mind. And then the other thing, in the car is a great place. You know, can't be playing and driving, so it's like a great chance to sing and play. And I often share with students, I'm like, the words thing, if you treat them like poetry rather than reading, where you just take the first verse, first 2 lines, drill those, then the next 2, then start expanding them out, then start looking for similarities across the song. You know, I know some songs that they repeat the ones the whole time. All right, good to see you on the stream, Stephen. Okay, let's see, questions. Okay, brilliant. Okay. Question in from Katie. I've just started learning fingerpicking. What's the best songs to start with? All right, crew. Any of you watching on YouTube, if there's any songs you want to post to share, any good fingerpicking recommendations for starting? Everybody Hurts is a good one, Katie. That can work well. Another one, I wouldn't do House of the Rising Sun, just in case you see that one pop up. The thing to watch is that you don't pick songs that go too fast, that have too quick chord changes, and that have a load of chords, and House of the Rising Sun does. So Everybody Hurts is a really good one. The other thing you can do is learn a classic finger picking pattern and just pop it on to songs you already know. So for example, this one here, we're doing a finger picking July journey inside the membership, inside the community. But like this pattern here we did, it was thumb, index, middle, ring. Right, so if you just took that and you did it on different chords, With or Without You by U2. See the stone set in your eyes, see the thumb twist in your side. That's all the chords of the whole song. D, A, easy B-7, G. That's the picking pattern. If you did either one of those two, it would be good. Alright? Drop me a DM if you have any other questions on finger picking. I have a few resources. Happily send them. Alrighty. Okay, any other questions? Can you play Despacito? I haven't played that in the longest time. Yeah. I won't get into request land here, but just I'll turn it into a lesson. Actually, there's a question about triads earlier. Steve, you asked about triads. So Despacito, if I was to try this with triads, I'd be going like. And that'll allow you, one of the advantages of triads is to put little fills in between. And also, with triads, you're very close to a melody somewhere. Like if I'm doing here. If I went here. I'm very close to being able to play whatever chords are close to it there. Alrighty, good question. Okay, awesome. Thanks. You're welcome. I don't know that song. My apologies. Zach Bryan. Oh, he had something in the orange. I know that one. Alrighty. Any other questions? Any side? Whew. How many questions have we got? We've gone through a lot of questions here, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 questions. Nice. Okay. Can we make 25 before the end of the hour? Who knows? Okay. Yeah, so those would be key things to watch. And that was accountability with triads. And just like when it comes to learning the really, like there's no guitar journey thing of going, oh, you learn to get you from G chord to Hotel California solo. And that makes the solo really mysterious. But one thing that I found that helped me learn those tricky solos, classic solos, was I'd a deadline and a massive why. So for those of you not in Ireland, when you're in your whatever third year of secondary school, there's a music exam. You take it at around the age of 16 or 15, and for my music exam, I wanted to play Hotel California, so the deadline. And the second thing about it was I told everybody and their dog I was going playing this for my junior cert exam. So all of a sudden now when you tell enough people you're going to do something by a certain date, people start to ask you about it. How's it going? Is it really as hard as people say? How far along are you? Those sort of things, and your back is kind to the wall, but some people are motivated that way. And a lot of the guitar players I've taught over the years who went on to solo, like seriously solo, character traits would have that back against the wall thing, and they were competitive against themselves. They were always looking to see what they could do better on guitar. As soon as they learned Hotel California, they set the new target, same pattern of behavior, the same thing, and it's cool. It works, So that's something. Question. Hold on. Brilliant. Hey Noel, I'll answer this in the present tense and the past tense. Okay, question from Noel. What's the hardest part of my guitar journey? This is an unusual one. The hardest part for me was finishing lessons with my teacher. I went to him for 5 years, and everything I needed to know, he was there, and the motivation and the accountability and everything I needed was there in the lesson. And I had a mentor type figure that each week I'd show up to, and I'd be like, I learned this week. Like, it was a real wanting to show how much I'd improved. And when it came time for me to finish, I decided I wanted to finish lessons, and that was literally that was the hardest part. That was finishing the lessons, because when I started going in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna go for guitar lessons forever. That was tough. That was really tough. And then yeah, playing wise, the hardest part was too many notes. I literally, there was a song by Steve Morris. I'll just do this here. There's a song by Steve Morris, and sorry, no, this is about to go haywire. Okay, there we go. There's a song by Steve Morris, and it goes like this. Something like that, right? Now, it goes like twice as fast, at least twice as fast. And the hardest part of that was I sat in my lesson, and my guitar teacher's like, got this really cool thing to show you, and wrote it down. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, we're up here on the neck and things like that. then he pressed play on the tape or the CD, and like it went so much faster. And the hardest thing with that was having the patience that it wasn't going to take everything else I learned on guitar. Within a month I used to like cram and get it. And with this, I was like, Jesus, this is mental. Like I'm not even getting half the speed of this within a month or two. And literally, I learned the lesson of sticking with something until you get it. That was Christmas the second year, and it was summer of transition year. So that's what Christmas at 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I was 2.5 years playing that every day, as well as all the other stuff, and finally got it. That was definitely the hardest thing, hardest thing to play, and the thing for the most patience. It was just wild, because at the end of the day, like, nobody wants to hear that live. They want to hear Go Girl. So there's that in it too, and that's why it's about the journey, not the destination. All right, good question, Noel. Thank you. Alrighty, folks. We have about 2 more minutes. I'm gonna let this roll because I want to make the hour. Okay. Okay. Rightio. I'll take one more question. If anybody has one more question, we're going to do it. And that's okay if you don't either. It's all good. Now, for anybody new on the stream, you're very welcome. Thanks for making it. Yeah, dedication. Man, learned it. Yeah, it was nuts. I think as well, the other thing about that song was I was seeing my own teacher work at it and like really practice it and work it, and I was like, geez, like other stuff would just come like that, and like this practice, like the ethos, so definitely. Oh man, good days. Right, thanks Vinny for watching. All 20 something, 22, 23 questions. This will be up here tomorrow on YouTube. So if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, you can find this on YouTube tomorrow on the School of Guitar. And if you want to help with your guitar journey and you want to join a community of amazing players, amazing people, just check us out. Just look up theschoolofguitar.com, and there'll be a thing to request an invite there if you want to come in and join us, or even if you want to find out more. That's good too. All right, so it's available mostly for acoustic players. Some of us play electric in there too, but it's mostly for acoustic players. Dan, what is up? Good to see your name on the broadcast. So if you want to... Oh, one question. Totally going to do it. Okay, so I'll answer this last one. But so if anybody's watching, I'll actually do this here real quick. There we go. So if anybody on YouTube, if you want to hop into the group, it's open at the minute again. So if you want to find out more, I'll drop the link there. Okay, and while that is dropped, I am going to answer this last question. Question from Brian. When using a metronome, would you put up the speed to test yourself? I would put up the speed, Brian, on one chord. Okay, I'd stick on one chord and I'd up the speed on that chord first, right? Just to be sure I'm still sticking with it. Foot tap with the metronome click. Your strum matches the tap, which matches the click. And with this, like, I don't know what it's like in Scotland, but around here you get penalty points for going like 1 or 2 miles or 1 or 2 kilometers over the limit. Like 1 or 2 over the metronome BPM can be enough. So watch out with the jumps that we don't jump like 10s and 20s. It's more like jump in 2s and 3s and just steady up and then move from there. All right, great question. And great to see you on the stream, Brian. All right. Hey, we'll have to do a call this week. Hope you make one of the calls. Okay. Coleman, come on. You need to get a late slip. We're just finishing up. I got your question. At the start. All right. You'll catch it tomorrow. But thanks for making it in. Alrighty. Okay. So I'm actually hitting in now. So have a great evening, Coleman. Thanks for making the end. All the questions over here, man. There's like 23 questions, something. All the all the dudes are in the house, so you'll see the chat there. All right, I will catch you soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see the rest of you gang. I'll see you in the community later on. All right, have a good evening. Thanks for making it.